Hey, this is Sagar from Live the Life You Love. Today I want to talk about my business and my career and what are my future plans, and hopefully it helps you in your own journeys of your career and businesses. So, my current business is an online business. Me and my partner, I have an American partner, his name is Donald. So he used to be one of my clients as I did programming in the past. I'm still a programmer, but I was working as freelancer and he was one of my clients, and we had a great relationship as friends. We really liked each other, and he had lots of online businesses in different areas. And so one day, I told him, hey, if you have any idea on the technology side, if you want to do something online, let me know. I'll be happy to work on a business, because I was tired of working by hour. I was not happy that I was being paid for only the number of hours that I was working. But I wanted to create something that can grow on its own, and because I think I'm smart enough to build automations and I'm smart enough to build a product that can pay for itself. I think I had outgrown the work and being an employee, and I had a startup. My career started with a startup, and then I got out of my own startup. I found some freelance jobs, and those jobs really helped me to travel and make money online. And in 2 years, I was growing out of that phase of my life of being a freelancer. And it was a personal choice. A lot of people don't want to deal with the responsibilities of a business, and they really don't want to have this extra headache, right? They are happy with their life as an employee, and that's completely fine. But for me, I really wanted to make bigger impacts in the world. I have lots of dreams, and a job simply no longer satisfied me. So my client, right, one of my clients, Donald, he comes to me hey, Sagar, I have this idea of this VPN company, virtual private network. And I immediately jumped in. Financially, we didn't have any problems because he was giving me a salary initially while we had no profits, we had no business. And I kept building the technology. Initially, I was the only one building the technology, right? One-man army on the tech side. So I built the back end, the front end, and the automations and orders, and then I was doing the customer support. And we did that for 6 months to up to a year, and then we were already making profits. The business was self-sustained. So while I was working on the tech side, initially I was the only one, right? So I started automating a lot of stuff on how customers were being served, and the process when an order is placed, and the technology of how VPN is working, how IP addresses are assigned. And the only thing I couldn't automate initially was customers, right? And they were asking a lot of questions, and the software we were using was an open source one. It was pretty basic, and there were lots of problems. And so this 80s IT show, the problems that customers were having, there were simple solutions hey, can you try restarting your computer? Hey, can you try reinstalling the software? There were these tickets were pretty basic just because the software was so shitty. We had the same tickets over and over again, and my cousin started responding to those tickets, and then billing tickets and changing billing cycles, and payment didn't go through, and so these very recurring issues. And it was a great relief that my cousin started doing it, right? And after that, we hired a back-end guy. My cousin started working on the front end as well. 2 years later, now we have 6 people working on the tech side. On the marketing side and on the content writing side, there are some other people that are working as well. My partner does all the marketing and financing, and I do all the tech, right? So he had some more people under him working. And my current challenge is to come out of this phase of working deeply in the technology and implementing everything that's there. And now, as I did all the initial technologies, I am trying not to micromanage people to maintain the same level of integrity with the infrastructure, right? Learning to let them make their own decisions and trust them on the implementations that they're building. And my only focus should be to giving them a direction and then help them in whatever they need in able to follow that direction, right? How they implement things, what technologies they use. I can be involved in those decisions, but I will definitely not be involved in implementations, right? So decisions and directions, that's all the things that I need to be involved in. And now my current challenge is also how not to be too lost in the daily processes and the daily tasks of how customer support, and then my cousin may not know how to work with him, right? So I spend too much time into doing little things who no one else is doing, some problems, some downtimes that nobody else is focusing on, and I spend the whole day just doing those little things. And I forget to focus on the long-term visions, right? I forget to focus on what's the most important thing here. Because in the end, I would want to automate this business completely in a way that I can open another business, right? I can work on another idea of mine and then automate that and open a third business, right? So currently this is my first business, and I'm learning all of these tools of managing people in the best way possible, leading them rather than being a boss of them, right? Working with them rather than, I think I do already a pretty good job at working with them as a team. We have a great culture. There's no office, everyone works online and everyone takes their own responsibilities, and the only thing I do is make sure that they are aware of what they are supposed to do, and when they fail to do, I am quite direct at what went wrong and also what went right, and appreciating them. So I think I'm doing a great job at making them feel comfortable working. So now I'm focusing on the core of the business and the tech, right? So for any technology business, the core part is always the back end, front end, automations, customer support, right? And what else? Innovation, always focusing on the new technologies and providing the best possible way and the easiest way to solve a problem for a customer, so he doesn't have to go through a lot of hassle, right? So simplicity, that's another core thing of any technology business. And then marketing and financing. Thank God I don't have to focus on marketing and financing because I'm really bad at it. And Donald, my partner, he does a great job at that. So back-end, front-end, automations, customer support, innovation, and simplicity, right? Once I take these core concepts, I have to make a proper plan to follow for, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 6 months. And we have a rough plan of how we are going to do these things, but I'm really bad at like defining exact steps and tasks for a longer period, right? Like I can write tasks, but they're really short-term tasks. Like there are long-term directions, but there are no long-term tasks of like what are we going to do within 6 months, right? Or how are we going to do everything that we're doing in 6 months? Current plans we have some tasks and ideas that are long-term, but like there's no plan. So that's why we are so involved in like day-to-day processes and problems, and I'm always on the edge. Like I feel like I have to stay awake all night, all day to make sure that everything is going great, everything is doing their jobs properly. Just because I haven't written down a lot of things, the ideas I have. So I'm learning how to spend most of my time into these plans and tasks and actions and giving my team a direction and help them make decisions rather than being involved in all the tasks they do. So once that is done, I will feel more free to focus on other ideas I have and probably start another business and then be balanced between different businesses that I run in the future, right? So let me talk about what I want to focus on the future, right? The businesses that I want to open in the future. So I am definitely very, very inspired by Elon Musk and his mission of sustainable transport, sustainable energy, and I'm quite not sure yet about multi-planetary species and stuff, just because there's a lot of work to do on our planet. The way we are doing things, in terms of how we are growing our food, how we are packaging everything that we use today, how we are not very careful about our trash and how we are polluting everything, right? The oceans, and how our natural beauty is being degraded day by day. So I'm quite concerned about those things, and I would like to focus on those things. I think it's very important to explore other planets, but not at the expense of our own planet, right? So anyways, going into sustainability, there are lots of things we can do. I mean, sustainable plastic has been invented, but it's not widely used. So why it's not used? How can we make it more affordable, and how can we use it more so that plastics don't become a problem anymore, right? Another problem is how we are growing our food. We are using lots of pesticides and GMO, and the practices themselves of agriculture are not sustainable. We have to put a lot of energy from outside to make the agricultural ecology work. But there are lots of other practices that is like agroforestry and permaculture, and there are lots of misconceptions that these technologies or these practices they don't give a high yield, that they don't produce a lot, which is completely not true. So I want to focus on them as well, like how we can practice more agroforestry and have millions of hectares of food, organic food, growing that way. That also helps the ecosystem that we have, right? So agroforestry invites more animals, invites more birds and ground animals to inhabit the agricultural land, versus how the conventional agricultural practice work, where you just push away everything that's not the crops, that's not the food, and you completely oppose the nature, right? In a way that you don't really pay attention to the natural processes. So if we focus on agroforestry, we can have an abundance of fruits and vegetables and food in general, in a way that helps nature, in a way that creates more trees and more more oxygen in the air, right? And that to me is very, very interesting. And I think it's very, very important that we do this as well. For our own health's sake, we have so many problems today with the pollutants that we are eating, with pesticides that we are eating. We don't know the long-term effects of GMOs in our DNA. The cancer, there are lots of cancer-causing elements in our. There are lots of carcinogens, cancer-causing elements in our food today that we eat, and I think it's very, very important that we deal with this, because otherwise we are degrading the nature and ourselves, right? We, as human beings, we are more and more prone to diseases. Our immunity is going lower, and these are important problems to tackle, right? Third is definitely sustainable energy. So Brazil, that's where I live right now, has a lot of potential in solar. I would love to follow the footsteps of Elon Musk in Brazil. Invest into solar, get a lot of solar energy going on in the grid. If the government doesn't want solar energy in their own grid, create another grid, create a network of sustainable energy. Create a network of sustainable energy, and then focus on electric cars, right? Once you have sustainable energy, then you can do a lot with that energy. The biggest problem of our transport system is that we don't have enough sustainable energy to power our transport. But once we have energy, we can focus on transport. And another thing is, it sounds crazy, but there are lots of experiments on over unity devices. So these are devices where you put some amount of energy, like let's say X amount of energy, and the system's output is 2x or 3x or even 10x. Once the system has been initiated with an input power of some other source, the system can power itself, and it can generate more output. So there's like power that is completely free, right? Informally they're called free energy devices. And there has been a lot of research on recently, but it's been suppressed by oil industries, obviously, right? There's an Indian nuclear researcher called Parmeshwar Tiwari, and he accidentally landed on this machine so this device uses a motor and magnets in a way that you put energy into it and then more energy comes out of it. It's been proven, it's been working, just that nobody wants it to come out because everything else becomes obsolete if this kind of technology comes out, right? There are lots of other parts, and in other parts of the world, these machines have been tested. Thomas Burden, he is a retired US military official. He has been researching a lot on over unity devices, and one of his inventions is magnetic electromotive generator. So this is like a steady state device with magnets and circuits, and you put energy and more energy comes out of it. There's this interview on YouTube called Serious Disclosure YouTube channel, and he gives this interview in this channel. So check that out. I truly believe that these devices exist, and they are channeling the energy from the vacuum. So there's this concept of 0 point energy, which means that when there's vacuum and when there's like 0 Kelvin temperature, it means that there's no kinetic or any kind of energy in this container of vacuum. But scientists have confirmed that there's still energy in this material. Call it dark matter, nobody knows. There's a lot of research going on into it. It's called the 0 point energy, and these magnetic arrangements are somehow able to tap into this energy and convert it into an electric energy. So if we put enough research into it and enough awareness about this, I mean, it has a huge potential. It will give us infinite energy, and it can be used for bad things, but we definitely need to grow out of our dependency on fossil fuels and you know, I mean, these phones, you know, it's so annoying to keep charging them all the time. And I mean, the technology has grown so much. We have computers and automations and virtual reality, and it's stupid that this energy still comes from coal and natural gas and that technology that's like 100 years older. So we need to grow out of that for sure. There's no doubt about that. Sooner the better. I would like to focus on these things in the future. Another business that I would also want to open is sustainable daily use products, right? So we use shampoo and soap, and they come wrapped in plastics, and they use a lot of chemicals. First thing, they are really not good for us. They're really not good for the environment. They're polluting our natural resources. I mean, the shampoo we use goes into the river, goes into the ocean. So we can replace these daily use products by natural products, which are packaged sustainably, and have a great marketing plan to promote these products, make them cheaper, make them easier for people to buy. A lot of people are already investing their money into sustainable products, and they're willing to pay more for a product that is natural and sustainable. They pay even double the price of a normal product, right? So if you are able to make them cheaper, if you are able to mass produce them, if you are able to be smart about it, we can actually sell these products and make unsustainable and harmful products obsolete, right? Like it would, in the future, nobody would want a chemical shampoo that has chemicals just so that it can make bubbles in your hair. It's just stupid how it works right now, and people are just not aware about it, right? So in the future, we will be using products that are actually good for us in the environment. Our food will come from sources which are sustainable and good for the environment and good for our health. A lot of pharmaceutical research will become obsolete as well, just because they don't focus on health, they focus on diseases and killing the symptoms rather than finding the core problem in our health and diseases. So these are the ideas I have for the future. I want to focus on them as soon as possible. But I'm very gentle about what I'm doing. I don't feel any rush to go into the next business or the next idea. I'm quite happy with my current business and my team. And we are building VPN, and I want to build the best VPN in the world. There are lots of competitors I see, and I see it's not very hard. It's not rocket science. There are some basic core aspects of this VPN business that I can probably make a plan of creating the best VPN in the world and have a great team to follow that plan, and it would work. I don't have any doubts about that. Good thing is that we're already in profits. Good thing is that the business is already sustainable. There's no one investing any money into it. We just need more time and efforts to compete with the big players and make the best service out there. So that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you in certain ways. And let me know if you want any help. Please feel free to ping me, text me. I'll be happy to have a call and just connect as friends. You know, I really enjoy talking about these things. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.